Hello, Lesbian Bieber checking in with the Rebel Media. I'm here today because I'm going to be going to a doctor's clinic to see if I can be diagnosed as a man. I don't know if it'll work. I've got a pretty good getup, in my opinion. And because gender is on a spectrum, I mean, unless they're massive bigots, they'll have to give me the diagnosis. Ezra has already given me some excellent tips. Things to say. Pals before gals. Let's get fucked up. May I have my license, m'lady? Thanks for the tips, Ezra. I'm sure they'll be super helpful. Let's go see if this works.
What can I do for you today?
You might not get this question often, and I don't mean to waste your time at all, but I've been a gender non-binary person for about a year now.
Sorry,
Gender non-binary.
Binary.
So I use male pronouns, and among my friend groups, as Oliver can tell you, I've been identified as a male for a while. I don't always present as male, but gender is a spectrum. So, and unfortunately, right now, before Trudeau's law goes through, in order to get your identity card for when you go into bars and everything, you have to have a doctor's note to have your proper gender on there. It's going to be changing in the next 2 years, and you won't have to have a doctor's note. So I just need a doctor's note that says I'm able to get my proper gender identification.
You're able to get your...
So when I go to get my driver's license, so when I go into bars and stuff, people don't misgender me. I just want to be able to have male on my gender identification on my driver's license card, but I need a doctor's note to do that. They're changing it in the next 2 years, so you don't need any sort of
so that
note.
you don't have to identify female or male.
Yeah, no. I use male pronouns along with my friends, yeah.
So that he doesn't have to identify as female on his official government documentation.
Well, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I mean, it's not like I can prove anything, right?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, thank you.
So this is to, did you say identify?
To use, male identification.
This is to... When did you start using the male?
About a year ago.
So any particular reason that the sudden change in the past year?
I feel that my gender is a more masculine gender. I don't always present as masculine, but inside, gender is a spectrum. It's different how you present, it's different how you feel, and I've always felt more masculine. I'm attracted to girls. I've always been more masculine.
So it's always
as an
been,
individual.
it's not like it's a sudden thing from last year.
It's been
last year.
it's been a long time, my whole life.
Okay. Do you want me to say that you should be identified as a male?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. The letters of
Thank you so much. Okay, so I am in absolute shock right now. I am now medically diagnosed as a male.
We have from New York the author and political commentator Geoffrey Robinson, and from our central London studio we've got Lauren Southern, a commentator at Rebel Media. That's a conservative online magazine. Good afternoon to you both. Geoffrey Robinson, let's start with you. Is it time to take another look at the Second Amendment?
It's been time since the Second Amendment was passed. Of course, it's well overdue. I mean, how many more mass shootings do we need? How many more victims of gun violence do we need before the Republicans get off their ass, stop doing the work of the NRA, who is in the pocket of the gun manufacturers, and change the legislation to protect people? I mean, Paul Ryan, what a disgraceful jerk he's turning out to be. Last night, when he came onto the well of the House, he said that this sit-in was a publicity stunt. I mean, the man is completely tone-deaf, typical of the Republicans.
Lauren, what do you make of that? I mean, after all, the Second Amendment was written in a very different environment in a very different era.
You know what, I'm not a fan of Paul Ryan, but I do agree with him on this one. It is a publicity stunt. It is purely virtue signaling. Even the Democrats themselves, like Chris Murphy, have admitted that none of these amendments would have stopped the shooting in Orlando or in San Bernardino. Not one of them, even the ones presented by the Republicans. They wouldn't have done a thing. They are just bureaucratic, more laws, and in fact, some of them are very biased. Even the ACLU have said that the ones that include banning people from the terrorist watch list and the no-fly list
are discriminating against people who have been through no due process whatsoever. That is the ACLU, who are certainly not NRA supporters, who are certainly not massive gun fans.
Yeah, Jeffrey, interesting point that, because that's something a lot of people have said, is if you're on a no-fly list, you shouldn't be able to own a gun. Lawrence says otherwise.
No, Ms. Southern is completely wrong and tone-deaf like Mr. Ryan. Let me tell you about Ms. Southern. I love it that she comes to my country and preaches no gun laws when Miss Southern is a Canadian where they have very, very strict gun laws. And where the gun laws work, we in the United States have 50,000 gun deaths a year. Miss Southern in Canada has fewer than 310. So, Miss Southern, here's my advice to you. Go back to Canada, get the gun laws changed there and obliterated, and then come back on Sky and let us know how well that worked out for you.
Let's let Lawrence Southern have a chance to respond to that. That's quite an accusation, Jeffrey.
Oh, I would love for the gun laws to change in Canada. If I were an individual that were in America in a mass shooting, the first thing I would think is, I wish I had a gun on me. I wish I were able to defend myself. The gun is an equalizer. As an individual, if I were attacked, I would have many men who attacked me I couldn't outpower. I would want a gun on me to defend myself from rape, from being murdered. If I was in a mass shooting, I would be a sitting duck. As much as you can love and trust the government, they still have to make that call. They still have a time to get there. And if there were someone with a gun in the Orlando shooting or the Paris shooting, any of these places, these mass deaths could have been stopped. Even the Eagles of Death, the concert that was playing in Paris, the singers said that I wish there was someone in there with a gun so that this could have been stopped. I will try to change the laws in Canada, and I wish I were in the States right now, and maybe I'll go there someday so that I can have the right to defend myself from both people who want to attack me, do me harm, and from a tyrannical government.
Okay, it's a good point, but on the other hand...
no, it's not a good point. It's nonsense. It's utter crap. It's not a good point at all. It's fallacious nonsense. It's rhetoric. It doesn't make any sense.
I apologise for your language. We are, of course, on live TV, so let's just remember that when we're discussing
I know, and it's still crap.
Please explain to me how one of these amendments would have stopped the shooting in Orlando.
I will gladly explain what gun control does.
No, what the amendments that are being...
No, listen. Just listen. In your youthful high school exuberance, you are very naive. What gun violence does,
can call me names,
what gun laws do is prevent gun violence. See, one of the things that Miss Southern... It did? Really? There were guns in Orlando in the club.
There were tons of gun laws,
but there were guns in the club in Orlando. The guards were armed. Obviously, you've never carried a gun. Some of us who served in the U.S. military have carried a gun.
Okay, Jeffrey,
and I can tell you something.
Let's get back to the subject here.
Let me finish. When you have lots and lots of guns in a room, what you get is panic and more deaths. Miss Southern doesn't have a clue what she's talking about.
Okay, Jeffrey, less of the personal attacks, please. Let's keep it on this subject. Lawrence Southern...
It is on the subject. She's talking nonsense.
Okay, but less of the personal attacks, please. Lawrence Southern, just to change tack slightly here. Now, what we saw in Orlando, it was, frankly, the kind of assault weapon you don't need to defend yourself. There are over 3 million of those in ownership in the US. We don't need assault rifles like that, do you, to defend yourself? Surely the law should be changed.
The thing is, it's an equalizer, right? If the government has a weapon that they can use against the people, I mean, you can say, no, it's not, sir, but... That's not an argument. You saw during the Chicago riots where you had Asian store owners defending their stores from being burnt down, and the only way they did that was with high-caliber weapons, and they were one of the few peoples that didn't have their stores burned down. You saw it during in Ukraine when you had the government sniping their own people. The people who were disarmed, they were fighting with Molotovs against sniper rifles. You need to be able to defend yourself from a tyrannical government. And with most of America seemingly thinking that Trump is the new Adolf Hitler, I'd think that liberals would want to be arming themselves to defend themselves from a Fourth Reich.
Utter nonsense.
Okay, Jeffrey, Jeffrey, the clock is against us. Let's just talk now about
let me
the
stick to
sit-in.
the issue.
Okay.
Darshini, let me stick to the issue. For example, what Miss Southern neglects is that the overwhelming single group that suffers most from gun violence in America are women, battered women, women who are subject to domestic violence. Women suffering from domestic violence are 8 times more likely to be murdered by their partner if there are guns in the house. Over the past 25 years, more intimate partner homicides with guns have taken place than all the other deaths of weapons combined. I mean,
Jeffrey,
it goes a lot further than the no-fly list.
Are you suggesting banning handguns?
Okay, Jeffrey,
I'm suggesting taking handguns away from men who have domestic order restrictions against them, yes.
Jeffrey, just to interject there, you make some really strong statistical points there. But on the other hand, 8 years of an Obama administration, we haven't seen gun control being
Well, of course not,
tightened up.
because the
Who's
Republicans
making the
will
laws
not
then?
bring it up. The Republicans refuse to bring it up because they're in the pocket of the NRA, and the NRA is in the pocket of the gun manufacturers.
Can
the
you explain to
Republicans
me-
instead have tried 300 and some odd times to obliterate Obamacare. They've never once put gun legislation into the House. They won't. They're afraid. The NRA has them in their pockets. They're puppets, and they're
Can you
jerks.
explain to me why in Chicago during Father's Day weekend, 13 people were killed, 53 were injured by guns when they have some of the strongest gun laws in America? Can you explain that to me?
They don't have strong gun laws in America because any idiot can
Chicago.
buy a gun.
In Chicago.
Any idiot can buy a gun from a gun show or on the internet, and there
Yes,
are
and
no
they can buy it
background
illegally
checks.
as well when they're banned.
Well,
Well,
back here
not
in,
if.
back
Not
here
if,
in the
not if
UK.
you have background checks, and not if you
No,
have.
I'm saying they can buy it
strict-
illegally.
No,
They can buy it
You know,
illegally.
this
There's no
is
background checks when
precisely
buying
this
things
is precisely this is precisely why you and the Libertarian Party in Canada and the Libertarian Party in America have no credibility. You are completely disregarded as a
These are
political
personal
force.
attacks, sir. These are personal attacks,
Jeffrey, I think
not
that's a personal
arguments.
view, but let's just move back to the subject because the clock is against us. Now, we've all seen those pictures of Democratic politicians staging that sit-in. It is an election year. Are we going to see this being a focal point in this campaign in the year ahead, do you think? Lauren?
Sorry, I didn't hear that question.
I said we're looking at these pictures here of Democratic politicians staging that sit-in. Is this going to be a focal point of this year's election campaign?
I do think it will be a focal point. People are going to be focused on who can defend them and who is going to allow them to defend themselves as well. And I do think that you've seen the gay community as well. Massive gun sales among the LGBTQ community have been going on the past week since Orlando. I think you're going to see people more focused on anti-terrorism, which will be more on the pro-Trump side, and more people focused on their freedom to have weapons to defend themselves. Because unfortunately, the government couldn't stop those 49 people from being killed. Someone in there could have stopped it. And I do think that this will be a focal point. Gun sales have skyrocketed every time there's a mass shooting, every time there's a terrorist attack.
Lauren,
People are going to be
just a
focused
yes or
on the
no,
right.
Lauren. Who makes gun control law in the US? Is it the government or the NRA?
It's the government.
Jeffrey?
Nonsense. It's the NRA, of course it is, because they've got all the money to make sure that there is no legislation passed, and the Republicans are such cowards, they won't go up against the NRA. They need the NRA money. The fact is, gun legislation works in Canada, Miss Southern. It does not work in America because there is none.
You know those two are very,
the
very,
facts are the
very
facts.
different situations with very different
Lauren
populations.
Southern,
No, actually,
Jeffrey
they're not.
Robinson, you are never going to agree on this. We really appreciate you
Never.
both making your points, and we do apologise to viewers for some of the language used during the course
I
of
don't
our
apologise
discussion.
for my language at all.
But thank you all for joining us.
Well, hello there. I'm not Lauren Southern, and welcome to Fascist Hunters. Today we are going to be finding out if the Australian public would like to execute known fascist Lauren Southern. Will she be hung? Will she be allowed to live? We'll find out on this episode of Fascism Hunters. Should we kill Lauren Southern? Should we kill Lauren Southern?
She's the blonde, political.
Yeah, she's the Nazi that's coming here with a far-right event.
I'm not sure if we should kill her, but I don't think we should be listening to what she's saying.
They don't actually know what I look like. Oh. Isn't it cute? Are we prepared to make this beautiful sign even more beautiful? It's very nice. Much better. Zoom in on that one. Much better. Look at me. This is my campus now. Excuse me, guys. Could I ask you a really quick question? Sure. Should we kill Lauren Southern?
Who? Sorry?
Should we kill Lauren Southern?
Lauren Southern is...
So there are far-right speakers coming here to Australia. They're coming here to spread extreme racism and hatred, according to this piece of paper. Lauren Southern is one of them. Should she be killed?
Get rid of her. I hate racism. We need it we need it out of this country and we need it out of this world.
Yeah, I agree with that.
How should she be killed?
In the most humane way possible.
That's very nice of you.
Or actually, probably not kill her. Probably just put her in jail. I reckon, because I don't reckon anybody deserves to be killed.
Someone said we should string her up, and another person said fill her with fentanyl. So you just want the go to sleep easy.
Just an injection or something like that. Because we're not in that decade anymore, and we just want that's the way we're living nowadays.
I don't think that guy was joking. I don't think he was joking. How should we kill her?
Oh, geez, I don't know, in front of a tram, I don't know.
In front of a tram?
Like it wasn't our fault.
Very good. That's very sneaky. That's very sneaky.
Because we're not for killing, but...
We're not for killing.
You know, it could happen in another way.
It could happen accidentally. Should we kill Lauren Southern?
Aren't you her?
No, she's a fascist.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's her.
Really? I don't know. Definitely not her. I just look like her. All blonde people look the same.
But isn't she American or Canadian and you've got an accent?
She's Canadian. I'm American.
I think it's her, babe.
I don't think anyone
But
needs
she
to be
is
killed.
a fascist and she's a racist, I'm pretty sure as well.
No one needs to be killed.
Run! Run away. She's horrific. Run! Run for your lives! She's a fascist and a racist. Let's go! This is astonishing to me. I mean, it's quite clear that my hair is just up in a hat, but I guess that's all it takes to get your diagnosis. So I already have better eyesight. You know, I think I'm getting paid more. You know, I'm stronger. I feel more privileged. This is great. Being a man is great. But I need one last thing to be a real man. I need to legally be a man. So we're going to go and see if I can get my government ID changed to male. Hi. I'd like to get my Ontario ID card.
Sure. What documents do you have?
I brought passport.
You never had a Ontario?
No, I just moved here a month ago. I've got my old BC license.
Then your middle name is?
Sherry. Cherie.
How's it going?
$35
Good.
for this one?
Sure. One more thing. For purposes of this identification, I would like to be identified as male. I brought in all of the proper documents.
Ah. I'm glad you told me. One moment, sir.
Yep.
Is there some force for this one?
Thank you, John.
Yeah, I have a question for you. So I have a comment to for applying for the profile, for the Ontario profile.
Oh, wow.
But applying the class is to put a instead of female, identify as male. So I have a letter from the doctor, like information for that. Can I accept it? Sure. Here, just want to show it to you. So this is your photo card number.
Thank you. Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay, so as of today, I now have a doctor's confirmation that I should be identified as a male and legal confirmation that I am indeed a dude. I honestly didn't expect it to be that easy. And you know what? Some people might be wondering, like, what's the big deal? So what if people can just change their gender whenever they want? How does that impact me? How does it impact society? Well, I'll tell you how it negatively impacts society. It makes us, as a whole, give up our sense of honesty, objectivity, and our respect for facts. I mean, we've gotten to this point of toxic hedonism where we've decided that we prefer feelings over objective honesty. We've decided that we prefer to do whatever makes us feel good rather than acknowledge the reality of situations. I showed up to get my government ID wearing makeup. I had my hair down. I was wearing high heels. I was talking like a chick when I was there. But when I said I want to be a male, the government worker played into my delusions because she doesn't want to get fired. And in fact, if Bill C-16 goes through, Trudeau's new bill on transgender rights, LGBTQ things, people could literally go to jail for denying someone's gender identity, no matter what they present as, no matter if they have a doctor's note or anything. You could go to jail. That is insane. Today, you can go into a doctor's office, and this is even before Bill C-16 has gone through, and it'll take you 1 hour, not even, to intimidate a doctor into giving you whatever identification you want. We're embracing calling professors they. We're considering making it illegal to question people's ridiculous pronouns. How far can this go? Society is going to come to a crossroad at some point, Are we going to embrace reality or fiction?
I think I found a wild Antifa. I think they're across the street. We found a live one! Oi, crikey!